Let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt totally intimidated by corporate jargon, or maybe you thought, understanding business strategy was just for elite executives or super expensive consultants, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to completely demystify the core of what makes any business tick. Think of me as your coach today. We're going to break down a really brilliant, highly accessible framework that's designed specifically to make these concepts simple, memorable, and honestly, incredibly effective for your own ideas. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever noticed this kind of fascinating phenomenon? You go to a local stall, right? And the chef makes literally the absolute best food you've ever tasted in your life. But they only ever have that one single shop. Meanwhile, another business down the street with a completely average, totally mediocre recipe manages to open dozens of wildly successful branches everywhere you look. Like, why does that happen? Well, the secret doesn't actually lie in the recipe itself. It lies in a concept that is so often misunderstood, the business model. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover what a business model actually is. Second, the business plan mind map. Third, your value proposition. Fourth, customer segments. And finally, revenue and resources. Let's hit it.
Section 1. What is a business model? At its most basic level, a business model is just how an organization collects, creates, and delivers value. That could be economic value, social value, whatever it is. But think of your business as an engine. Fundamentally, an engine takes fuel and converts it into kinetic energy, right? Movement. But as we all know, not all fuel turns perfectly into movement. A lot of it gets lost as heat or friction or noise. Well, a business operates the exact same way. It takes fuel, which is your capital and resources, and tries to convert it into movement, which is your profit. That waste, the heat and friction, that just represents the standard costs of doing business, things like rent, distribution, and salaries. So what actually makes a great engine? It's one that converts the highest possible percentage of its fuel into movement with minimal waste. And you know what? The exact same rule applies to your business. A business model is really just your framework for converting your available resources into something of much greater value. We want a highly efficient business that literally maximizes the conversion of capital straight into true profit. Moving on to Section 2, the business plan mind map. Let's simplify that strategy. Now that we know what the engine is supposed to do, how on earth do we design it without getting totally lost in a 100-page document? Check out this massive shift in how we plan businesses. For years, entrepreneurs were told they had to write these huge, complex business plans, those giant stacks of paper. But the business model canvas, which was introduced by Dr. Alexander Osterwalder and Dr. Yves Pannier, completely changes all of that. It acts as a visual mind map. It basically condenses all the essential elements of a business onto a single, simple page without making it overly simplistic. It makes the whole framework accessible to absolutely anyone. And you build this canvas step by step using 9 building blocks. Think of it like snapping together the parts of your engine. You've got the value proposition, customer segment, channels, customer relationship, revenue stream, key resources, key activities, key partners, and cost structure. When you put them all together, it gives you this amazing, comprehensive bird's-eye view of how all the parts play a role together. And that applies whether you're running a massive global corporation or just a local laksa shop.
Section 3, value proposition, the core offering.
Let's zoom in on the absolute heart of this canvas. What is the customer actually paying for? See that beautifully wrapped gift box? Your value proposition is quite literally the gift. It's the core promise that you are handing to your customer in exchange for their hard-earned money. It's the specific problem you're solving for them, or that specific need you are fulfilling. And hey, this gift can take a ton of different forms. Let's quickly run through a few memorable examples here. Your value could be newness, like Karen Croft launching Hijabista magazine to offer completely fresh content. Or it could be performance. Think Toyota offering highly efficient, reliable vehicles. It might be status. People buy a Louis Vuitton bag because of the wealth and success that brand communicates, right? Or it could simply be price or cost reduction, which is exactly how companies like Miden Supermarkets or AirAsia completely dominate their markets. They offer the exact same core service, just at a much lower cost.
Section 4, customer segments. Who exactly are you serving?
So once you have your perfectly wrapped gift, you need to know exactly who you're handing it to. The crucial point here is matching your value proposition with the absolute right group of people. If you're a supermarket like Giant, your segment is the mass market. You're serving everybody. But if you sell organic halal products like the Azazain store network, you're targeting a very specific niche. You could also be segmented. Think of Lego for a second. They have Lego Technic for teenagers, Duplo for toddlers, and Mindstorms for adults and educators. Knowing your segment dictates exactly how you need to tune that business engine.
Section 5. Revenue and Resources. Fueling the engine.
All right, now for the final piece of the puzzle. We know our value, we know our customer, but how do we actually get fuel into the engine? The charts and auction hammer you're looking at right now represent your revenue mechanisms. This is how your pricing strategy actually generates income. And let me tell you, it's not always as simple as just slapping a price tag on a cardboard box.
A business can set its prices in two main ways. First, you have fixed pricing. Think of a set menu at a restaurant or buying items in bulk for a set volume discount. But then, you have dynamic pricing. This is where things get really interesting. This includes real-time commodity markets for gold or silver, auctions, or yield management, which is exactly how AirAsia sells tickets. The price literally changes based on when you buy it, just to ensure that every single seat is filled. Let's move along and see how this builds. We have to look at the raw materials required to actually produce your value proposition, your key resources. There are 4 essential categories you're going to need. Human, so your talent and staff. Physical, which is your premises and raw materials. Financial, meaning your capital and grants. And intellectual, like your brand and patents. Without these blocks, your engine literally has no parts.
And what do those resources actually do? Well, they perform key activities. There are 3 main types. You might be totally focused on production, like a factory manufacturing goods. You might be in problem solving, like a medical clinic, where doctors have to diagnose and offer unique treatments to every single patient. Or you might manage a platform or network, just like Car and Graph has to juggle their own writers, external contributors, advertisers, and readers all at the exact same time.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. We stripped away all that complex jargon to reveal the really simple, mechanical truth of how successful organizations operate. By using the business model canvas, you can map out exactly how you create, deliver, and capture value, all on a single piece of paper. So I want to leave you with a final thought to reflect on for your own ideas, or even the business you work for right now. Take a hard look at your framework. Is your business engine just burning up fuel in the form of friction and costs, or is it truly creating forward movement and profit? Think about that, map it out, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.